What was it that I needed again? Where am I gonna get all of this?
The Co-op store has everything a student needs. The Co-op store, the largest supply of IUP and Crimson Hawk merchandise in the universe.
What have been the keys to get your team to the point it's at right now in this season?
I think the keys haven't changed from any other year. I think it's just a commitment to the process, and that's just working every day. In the fall, you work on different things, fundamentals more, and then you work on more team things oriented as the year goes on, November, December. And then when you compete in games, you kind of get exposed to what your weaknesses are. You get a clearer picture of what you need to work on, and you try to build from that. But it's like every year, we try to preach a commitment to the process, okay? And that's how do you develop as individually, and how do you develop as a team, and how do you come together? And a commitment to each other. And that commitment is to not only to each other, is not only to blend as a team, but it's also to come closer together so that your mentality is where you care about each other a lot more, okay? You start serving each other. And when you serve each other, if you have a lot of people serving each other, the whole can be much greater than the parts. And that's what we strive for, and try to keep a focus on that, and stay that course no matter how the ups and downs of a season go.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of this team?
Well, the start with the weaknesses probably we're not maybe as physical as some other teams, okay? We're not maybe as athletic as some other teams, okay? And then, but the strengths are that they are a committed group, okay? They do work very hard at it, and day by day, and I think we're really skilled. I think we're a team that on the offensive end passes the ball well, shoots the ball well, has a nice blend of perimeter scoring and inside scoring. So I think we're a really good offensive team. Our weaknesses sometimes come on the defensive end, and although we have some strength there with our preparation, our guys try to lock in and really take to heart the scouting reports and try to do the mental end of it. They value it and they put time into it, but sometimes our lack of maybe size or our lack of lateral quickness that we've had in the past, or length, can sometimes make us a little bit less than a great defensive team. I think we're still considered good, but we're not elite.
IUP's had 7 straight 20-win seasons. This is your 7th straight PSAC playoff berth, working toward your 7th straight NCAA tournament bid. How have you been able to sustain that level of success?
It starts with, first of all, having a good job, okay? A job that where you have resources, okay? Where you have a great campus to sell, where you have good people around, and the challenge every year really does start with resources. We as a staff, the basketball office, okay, we need to kind of sustain our budget. We need to raise over $100,000 every year, and that's year in and year out, in order to compete at the level of with the Gannons and the Mercyhursts and the private schools that have a little bit more resources to start with. But fortunately, we have a groundwork here in Indiana and some generous people that allow us to reach those goals. So it starts with that. I think I've been really fortunate to have great people working with me. Chris Veit did just an outstanding job, okay, for those numbers of years. And Matt Hahn and all the young assistants, part-time type guys that I've had along the way, just have been fortunate to get good ones. And And those guys really are the nuts and bolts, and they're a big part of our player development. And I think you sustain it by the players in your program have to get better, and you have to have those guys in your program to give you some stability. And then you add those 2-year guys, and on rare occasions a 1-year guy like Sean Dyer this year, and that really help you stay elevated at a level where you have some guys that are all league type players, and sometimes they come to you like that, Matisse, okay, and sometimes you gotta grow them and water them and feed them, okay, and example Marcel and now Devontae. So it's a blend of that, and last but not least, I just think we've been fortunate. We've won a lot of close games. We've had some good bounces along the way, and we lost to Edinburgh earlier this year, and after 13 straight wins. But sometimes it's easy to forget that 2 years ago we beat them in overtime at their place, and then we beat them in overtime in the conference tournament prior to winning that conference championship. So not all coaching. And it's not all players. Sometimes things just line up, stars line up well for you.
When you're recruiting, what kind of player, what kind of person are you looking for?
Well, I like to say low maintenance guy. I don't feel a great pressure to necessarily like I have to win or I have to win championships. So I'm not going to take guys that I think are high risk guys. Okay, and what is that? They're all young men and are all trying to grow. So I don't want to paint a negative picture towards any guys. But some guys have had, some guys have had maybe a little bit of a history that's challenging. Or some guys may come off as a little bit selfish. They're really good players, but they got a selfishness in them. We try to avoid those type of young men and those challenges. Not that you can't make an impact on them, but. We like to recruit guys that we think are unselfish, that we think will fit in with the guys that we have. We always say that the core returning is the most important part, and then anybody we bring in recruiting is there to complement those guys. So talent-wise, and complement them as far as fitting into a family. And so that's what we emphasize in recruiting. We like guys that I think lately we've gone to lean towards guys that are more based on skill, okay, and being able to shoot the basketball and pass and those types of things. Earlier we were more maybe physical team, but at the end of the day we just want good basketball players and guys that we think love the game enough that want to continue to improve and develop, because we put emphasis on that. We put a lot of time in it. But if you have to pull teeth to do it, and they're reluctant, you get guys, you're probably not going to move them a lot over the course of their 2 years or their 4 years.
The conference playoffs start this weekend. What do you see upcoming in the PSAC playoffs?
Well, I think this year, I think the conference top to bottom has been more competitive than it has in 3, 4, 5 years. I think every night that we played this year, I felt that the other team, we didn't bring our best game. The other team had a chance, and we've gotten just about everybody's best shot when we played, and they're excited. They're excited to come in here, and a lot of young men don't get a chance to play in a facility like this. They go their whole careers and don't play in what you would call an elite type facility. So this facility excites them. To them, it's like playing in the Garden in New York, and then. They don't get a chance to play top 25 teams. Only teams in our conference that play the top 25 team this year, they played us. So those types of inspirations tend to lift guys' games up individually and sometimes as a team. So those are challenges that we face, and I think there's a number of our teams this year I look at that were better than they were last year. So the ability for those teams to beat you on a given night, you're not playing a 7-game series, but on that night, it becomes more and more challenging, and the competition is good, and hopefully it's prepared us for the conference tournament, and if we're fortunate to make the NCAAs, we've been a little bit more tested than maybe we were in other years.
Your point guard, Devontae Chance, has had a real solid senior season. How impressive has he been this year?
He's really special, and you don't get a lot of them over the course of a coaching career. As a head coach. Fortunately, we've had good point guards, but we haven't had guys that let me say, control a game or dominate a game at times as much as he has. We've had good point guards from a standpoint that they've always been able to orchestrate, okay? All right? He does more than orchestrate, okay? He gets out there and he plays the violin, okay? He's not or he plays the piano. You have piano carriers and piano players, okay? He's a player. And sometimes as a coach, I got to, you build trust, and he's earned my trust over the years, and you just kind of let him go, even if you don't think it or like it, or because in the end sum game, he's going to make more good decisions that help you win, and he's going to make more plays that help you win than bad plays. And so you give him, he's earned a green light, so to speak. He doesn't take advantage of it as far as shooting the basketball. Sometimes people will say, well, he holds on to the ball too much, he dribbles too much. Yeah, but I still like it. I still like the end game of it. Okay, end game. He makes a lot of good decisions and makes other guys better. So in my mind, he's a great player. Okay, and he's not only a great player because what the stats he puts up individually, but he truly makes other guys better from a physical standpoint. Okay, with his putting him in position to score and things like that, and his leadership makes other guys better. He's got a leadership quality that people respond to. Sometimes he challenges guys. And he can act like it's aggressive, but he looks at it like those are his brothers, and he can speak to them in a stern voice. Everything doesn't always have to be please all the time. Sometimes you got to be demanding. So he's definitely a coach on the floor, and his growth has been really special. From coming in here, and I didn't project him to ever be as good as he is, and certainly no one else did, because of his recruitment was not very extensive by other schools, and to become the player he has, a future Hall of Famer, at the school, and a guy that has a chance maybe to win 100 games in his career. Okay, when you play a 26-game schedule, that's over 4 years. That's quite an accomplishment.
Where do you see your program moving forward?
Well, when I got here, we made a comment, rather, you don't want to just put a team together, you want to put a program together. And to me, the great programs in college basketball, whether you're North Carolina or Duke or even Pitt to a degree, which I consider a great program, okay, they're able to keep finding ways to have success year in and year out. And you can't always control when you get to an NCAA how the stars line up and what you can, how far you can go in a given year. But I just want to have a chance to have a team every year that can compete for conference championships, have a team every year that can compete for a regional championship, and to do that consistently over time, and to have a program where the young men are graduating, the young men are having some type of impact on IUP community while they're here. I think that's called a program. That's just not a team. That's just not about winning. This program never wants to be about winning. It's not being used as a springboard to anything better. We're living in the moment, and I as a coach of this program, I'm a servant. I feel like I'm a servant to the institution, and we want to serve on the court and off the court in many ways that we can. And we're fortunate with the facility that we have to serve the IUP community with some nice evenings in the winter months.